the note that I shared with you in one folder. So from that folder we will be accessing all the commands, the SQL commands from that particular folder. Yes, that is it. So we will jump directly to the software, that is the Workbench, and we will start loading those commands. So okay, I want us to go into our Workbench. I want us to dive into our Workbench. Let me share my screen with you. Okay, so this is the Workbench. Let me delete everything here. And I remember yesterday I said that I will do a recap on what we covered yesterday before we start for what we are supposed to cover today. Yesterday we did a simple command for creating a simple database, that is the staff1 database, and today we will repeat the same process for those who are not installed the software. So from that part we will jump directly on what we are supposed to cover today. So if you have any question, feel free to ask. You just feel free to ask. Okay, yesterday you remember very well. Let me open that document before we start. To the SQL, not that one. So please, today we are going to do practicals. At the end of the day, one of you or every student should be able to create a simple database, insert some values inside those databases, and do some operations in those particular databases. Let me open this database here. Yes, we were here. So we created a simple database. Yesterday. Remember, the command for creating a database is create database. Then you give the name of that particular database. From database is now when you can create what? When you can create a table. I want us to do a simple task of creating a sample database, because yesterday the main thing was just to test the interface of this particular software before we continue. So yesterday we didn't do much, just a matter of creating a simple database. So what name of database do you suggest us we create? I want to hear from you. Just give the database, the name of the database that you want us to create, a sample database name. I want to hear from you. Yes, school database. Yes, very good, Mr. Morris. Who else? Another one? LC. What is the name of database that you want us to create? as class. Now let's create that simple database called class. That simple database called class. Who can show us the syntax for creating that particular database?
Excuse me?
Yes, John?
Yeah, I was unable to install mine. Just came in right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Who else?
Me.
Yes, John. The two Johns. Another one? Yes,
It's
Mr. Morris.
me.
I can see you have given us the command for creating what? For creating that particular database. Now, we have two of us who don't have this software. So I think I have installed in your machines through TeamViewers, some of you, and some we have been caught up with the time before we were through. Now, what should we do? John, what should we do? I want to hear from you.
I shared with you the code of TeamViewer 10 minutes ago via WhatsApp.
Pardon?
I had already shared with you the code for TeamViewer 10 minutes ago.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just before the class started, but I think you are not online.
Okay, but now you will bear with me that the process of installing that software does not require those 10 minutes, if I'm not wrong. And yes, Mary.
I managed to install, but like it's telling me there is no connection.
There
The
is no.
buttons that I can use to run such buttons are not working. They're just there. So I don't know.
Do you have the
I don't
command
know
line?
what it. I haven't seen it. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about command line, but it worked. There's a place whereby it's telling me. It was telling me. I don't know what. Now I've forgotten, but it was telling me there are some things where there is log. There's some things that didn't run completely, but I can open where I can type the statements, but I can't run.
You can't run the command.
I can't run the command. I can type, but running the command is an issue.
Okay, you
It's telling me no
downloaded the.
connections established.
Okay, you downloaded file what the how many MBs for installing?
I don't remember. But mine is MySQL 8 point something. I downloaded the second one.
How many MBs?
Let me check.
I think you are supposed to download the complete file, the complete folder with around 400 that something, 400 that 7 MBs.
So probably that's the issue.
Yes.
Okay.
But so you are 3. So we will sort with you before. I will sort you after the class. After the class. Sababu nimeshinda online from morning, nimekuwa I was troubleshooting some softwares from student laptops with routing viewer. I think I've tackled almost 10. Are they 10? Yeah. Install 10. Na nilikuwa na time ya kuinstall more. So you are there. So after the class I will install them through the TeamViewer in your machine. So if you will not have installed them. So are we together, Mary?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we were creating a sample database and Morris has given us the command. The command is create database school. See there. Create database school. So what you are supposed to do is to navigate into your directly into your machine, into your workbench, and write that particular command. So am I audible?
Very clear.
Okay, now let's navigate to the workbench. You can see my workbench is not responding. I don't know why. My laptop is overloaded. We can name, I think I have a database called school. So let's create a database called school1. We can have the school1. So I urge everybody anyone with workbench to type these commands. So we create database school.
Can you share your screen?
Pardon?
Display your screen, please.
I share my screen. I'm sorry. I think it's visible now. So you create database school
Excuse me.
1, for example.
Excuse me.
Sawa. Create database school 1. Then you execute this command.
Can you please just start the process?
Okay, let me start.
Do you write create database?
Yes, imagine that is the command. Do you remember yesterday I told you that the commands in SQL they appear in blue color. So when you type create as a command, so it will appear in blue color. So you create database school 1, then you terminate with a semicolon. Then from there, when the cursor is there, you just execute. Only that is specific words. Only that is specific line. So you click. So when you after you execute that command, you will notice that you will have under the action output window here, you will have either tick or X. So I have created a database called school 1. So I have created a database called school 1. From there, it's the time now when you can insert, when you can create a table. So under school, which type of tables do you think we can have? Under school, I want to hear from you. And remember, a table must contain data of related what? Items or related people, for our case. Which table, or you can give us an example of tables that we can create under school. I want to hear from you, Morris. I want to hear from you.
Can you create a table? Students, teacher, maybe department. Maybe
yes. So we can create a table of teachers. So there, we can create a table of teachers. We can create a table for students. And remember, the students, we expect to have the names, the registration numbers, all those things. So there, and the teachers, we expect to have the full name of teachers and let's say the TSC numbers, Maurice, you can unmute yourself, and the TSC numbers and all other things and all other details concerning a student, concerning a teacher. So now what? Now we can create a table for students. So we can create a table for students. The syntax is very simple. You create table students with some what? With some attribute. So now you create table, let me space here. So create table student, for example, create table student. Remember, the syntax for creating a table was like this. You create, you can use let's use this dot here so that we can be more specific and we avoid those errors later. So we create table school 1 dot student. So create table school 1 dot student. So that's a student table. So then you open the brackets. So after opening, obviously you will close it somewhere, and now inside here, remember after closing you have to terminate so that anything that you write inside here itakuwa sawa. Now what attributes should be here? We should have something like name. Remember, name, then you specify the data type. So what data type is name of students. Remember, name is can be just text, and it should not be null. So you must have these as, for example, text, and it should contain some values. So it should contain some values. Another thing is registration number. We can say registration number is of type integer, for example. Then we can specify we expect this integer to have a maximum of let's say 5. We can specify it can have how many? It can have let's say 5, for example. So it can have 5. What else can we have under student table? We can have age. We can have the age. I think you are doing what I'm doing for my side, please. We can have age. Age is int. So there, age. We can have age as integer. Integer. You can have age as integer, for example. What else from our example? What else can we have? What else? I think you can hand the table there for now. there's a problem somewhere. I don't know.
There is a comma after int.
The comma after int. Oh yeah. Yes, the comma after int, then we close. So from there we can run the command. So you can run the command, and you will see that we have created a table called student. So from there you can insert values. So there you can insert values. Remember, I told you that we can insert values directly with command from this side, or we can update that empty table and apply changes directly here on Workbench. That's the advantage of Workbench as compared to the command line prompt. So as compared to the command line prompt. Now, who has not been able to create this simple table?
Mine has a problem.
Yes, where is the problem? You can share with us your screen so that when you experience the same can also be sorted out. You just share with us your screen. Let me stop sharing. Share with us your screen. I'm waiting for you. And for those who are able to go ahead and see what is in those notes, or the content in those notes, you will notice that they are just commands. So they are just commands. Another being writing a comment in Workbench is terminated with the hash sign. So who has not been able to create that simple table before you proceed? Now let's go and open those notes, the note that I shared with you. So please. John Jenga, where is X? Why X? You can share with us your screen. I know it's a matter of commas and semicolon somewhere. You can share with us your screen, John. See, you can. It's not visible. Peleka karibu kabisa. You will see it. Yes, it can be there. So, create database, school 1, create table, school. You have not, no. Hebu peleka karibu kabisa so that we can see it.
He has a comma after int.
Where is the comma?
After int. After the age.
After int, yes. So you remove that comma after int. After int, you remove that comma. So then you execute the command. I think that way you will be able to do it. So we can continue now. I want us to open. Yes, Joel.
This Benson.
Benson, yes. So create a database. School, yes, very good. Create table school. Okay, you have a problem, huh? You have a problem with the database name before dot students. Remember, you don't have a database called school1. For your case, yes, you can add one there, then execute the command. So now, yes, then you execute the second one. Peleka kasa hapo mwisho kabisa for on the second. The second part, the second command, I think it has executed. No. I want you to bring the cursor on the second semicolon. Yes. Click there, then execute the command. Why?
I think since I read it before, I think it exists.
Oh yeah. John Jenga, you can share with us, yes?
Okay, mine has a similar problem to that. Like I'm trying to execute and it's not running.
Just share
and
with
yet
us.
the X has.
Share with us your screen. Si ungepindua the other way. Hey, Njenga, tutajua kusoma hiyo kweli? Yes. Peleka kabisa. So we create database school1. I saw one. Hebu peleka and bring it in here. Yes, create a database. Hey, it's becoming blurred. I don't know why. I want us to load the commands for the one. I wish you shared with your machine, but it's okay. Is it possible you share with us with your screen, the machine screen, your laptop screen? Are you connected? Have you connected your machine? From the sound.
No.
What is the error message?
Table student already exists.
There?
Exists. error called 1050 table student already exists.
So you have a table. Oh, you integrated it, Hadia. So it means it's already in your database, in that particular database. Now, let's load the commands for day 2 in your machine. Let's load those commands in your for day 2. The commands from day 2.
Kindly share your screen.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. That's my screen. I want us to load the commands from day 2. So begin. I want you to click on files. Click on files here. Under files, click open SQL script. Click open SQL script under files. So when you click like that, browse where you have saved those notes or those commands. So I want you to pick this SQL script called create databases. So click on it and open. A lot of cons will be there.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. Just a minute.
Oh. Hello?
Yes.
Can you kindly share that script to WhatsApp? I don't have it.
There was a file I shared with you. It was zipped file. So
Excuse me.
yes.
I have more than one create database files here. Which one can I choose? There's
Very
create
good. Very good. Which one? We have the
create database HR inventory.
We have the HR. See there.
Yeah.
Another one we have the invoicing.
Yeah.
Kuna the other one store. See there. I think you have those notes. See there.
Yeah.
Nani ana hizo notes. I sent them as zipped files. Let me show you. I have them. One is the HR, the other one is inventory, the other one is invoicing, the other one is store. So I want us we launch one by one. I want us we launch the HR. Open the HR. So are we there?
Yes.
After opening the HR, you can see we have a lot of commands there. See there? I want us to execute all those commands. So now, don't use this execution with one, but use this other one. And click it. What happens? I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. So after running this one, repeat the same process for the other three. For the other three databases, that is the inventory. Click on inventory, open it, and execute it using this one, this folder here, mpaka all the 4 databases have been created. So who is
For
the
the HR one, I didn't get anything in my output box.
do you but you have the commands, huh?
Yeah, I have the files. I've tried to execute the one for HR. Nothing is happening on my output.
Do you have a tick or X?
Nothing.
Do you have a tick?
No.
You
Let me
can
try
share-
the next one I see.
You can share with us your screen in 1 minute. Please, we have to cover a lot of things today. Stephen, I'm waiting for you to share the screen.
Yeah, in 2 seconds.
So, for others, you can load all the other 3 databases and you refresh the schemas so that you see whether we have them.
You can see my screen?
Yes.
So this is the one for HR. I did run this, nothing happened.
When you click on that command for running the whole database, what happens?
This one?
Yes.
Yeah, finally, okay.
I can see you have you have succeeded.
Yeah, it's now done. Yeah.
Sit up.
Yep, it's good.
You have them. Sit up. Good.
Yeah.
So repeat the same procedure for the other 3 databases so that we can dive on the commands for today. So you can load those databases at your own time. The other 3. But it's good you load them right now. Now, let's load the console for the second day. The console for second day. I want you to click on files. Ukiacho nyuma, please alert us where you are not able, what you are not able to do. Then click on that icon and click on lesson day 2. Commands lesson 2 SQL. Commands lesson 2. Then you open them. So.
Share your screen, please.
Oh. I think you have loaded all the databases in your machine. See them?
Yes.
Very good. Let's continue. Now, go on files. Open SQL script and open command lesson 2. We have that command lesson 2 there. Open them. I think we are together up to that point. Now, if you have loaded all the databases, it's now the time to dive on the first command that we were supposed to cover today. The first command is called the select command, and select command is used to select the data from a database. So we can select a specific table. You can hand the conditions under which you want to select the data from a database, but a general select command will display all the data contained in a certain table. Contained in a certain table. When you click on this refresh button here, you will notice that you have some databases that zimekuwa created by the commands that you have executed earlier. You will have the invoicing, SQL invoicing, you will have the HR, you will have the store, the databases they were just before. Now, the first command, we will do something on the store database. We will do something on store database. Tafadhali, I'm going slow so that you can have a clue of what we are doing. So, if you can't open this, you can just share with us your screen and tell us what you don't understand. So, now, if you check keenly here, we have a command here called select. Let me share my screen with you. Let me expand the view. We have select hash from store.customers. We have a database called store, and we have tables. We have tables under that particular database. If you expanded the tables, we have customer table, we have on item table, we have on status table, we have orders table, we have product tables, we have shippers table. So now the first command, this command here, will return all the data that are in customer table. So when your cursor is at just after the semicolon, you can execute that command and tell me what
Do I get that navigator?
The navigator button.
Yes.
See, navigator button is here. We have the administrator and the schemas hapa chini. Who is not able to have the navigator or to see the navigator in this on a machine, you can share with us your screen. Ili mwenye anapata the same problem can also be solved.
On my side, what I'm noticing is when I view the tables, I'm not seeing customer.
You are not
I'm seeing different tables. I'm seeing actor, address, category.
Okay, can you share with us your screen? Share with us your screen.
Maybe the problem is you mentioned about refreshing. How do I refresh?
Oh, we have some two arrows here.
Okay.
So when you refresh them, when you click on refresh.
Yeah, I think I can see that. I think I can see them now.
Okay, very good.
Who question is Bernard, my question is, how did we get to I think I missed something. How did you get to command lesson? Is it not lesson 2? The environment in which we are.
Pardon?
How did you get to the environment on which we are on the right side? That is.
Okay,
Commands lesson. Is it lesson 1 or 2? Not very sure. Commands lesson 1.
We are on lesson 2.
Lesson 1, I think. On lesson 2? No.
Yes, command.
Let me share my screen. Because I think there's somewhere. I don't know how that
I just share with us your screen. Share with us your screen.
Okay.
Share with us your screen.
I've already shared.
Okay, let me see. Are you sure? We don't.
Yeah.
Benson, not yet.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Just click on this, the arrow button. Present now. Present your entire screen.
That's where I've been clicking. Let me see. Again. Stop sharing. Then share again. Window.
Just click on it. Then.
What about now?
Yes, very good, very good, very good. We are there now. Oh, let me see. Okay, you have not loaded the script for the second day command. Just click on files. Click on files.
Yes, go on.
I don't see anything. You click on files, then you open script, open SQL script.
Yes. Which script specifically? HR, inventory, invoicing, store?
No. At the left top corner, we have file, edit, view, query, all those things, all those ones. We have a name called file. Just click on file. Yes, Apple.
Yes.
Click file. Click file. The name file. I want to open everything that is inside that file.
Which file specifically?
Okay. Just let me share my screen. You see what I'm doing.
Okay.
Just begin. When you click on files, we have new models, new query, all those things. You open SQL script, then you browse the folder where you have saved all your notes. Then you click on command lesson 2.
Bernard, show your screen.
Oh. So, you click on files. Are we together?
Yes, yes, we are.
Click on open SQL script. Then click on command lesson 2. This lesson 2 command. Then click open. From that, you will have this note, the commands for lesson 2. Sawa. Umepata sasa?
Now I see the problem. I see the problem. From the database, the database file you sent, the zipped one, I didn't get that command lesson 2 or something of that sort.
Oh. Now, all those other commands, they are still in a group WhatsApp. So you will just download them. Sawa.
Thanks.
Group WhatsApp. So you just download them, then you load them inside here. Sawa. Now, I want, as we do ABCD here, we want to select everything from, we select as from store.customers. When we execute this command here, you will notice that what we have is a table customer with a lot of entries.
Excuse me.
Sawa.
Excuse me.
Pardon?
Excuse me.
Yes?
Like, I've done all these things, but still I can't. That file store is not here among my schemas.
Which file?
That is it.
The file for the second command.
Database ya store.
That's database for store.
Uko kwa schemas.
Hapa kwa schema, you don't have something like store. It means you have loaded how many? Can you share with us your screen?
Iko kwa lapi na natumia phone. Like niko na hizo zingine except hiyo moja.
How many? Hizo zingine ngapi? We end only 4.
Invoicing.
We end 5. 5. Ni 5 or 4?
Niko na invoicing. char
Mhm.
na hiyo school 1
Na hiyo?
like all the other data sets I have except PS2.
You don't have the commands for store. Are you sure?
Yeah. Na nikiload tena, like if I rerun inaniambia already exist na
Yes,
haiko.
it means it's in your database. Sawa.
Sasa iko na sioni.
Just refresh the schemas and it will.
I have done that. And even if I try.
Okay, when you run this command, what do you get?
What's like yes, select all from store.
Dot customers.
Inaniambia that word does not exist. Unknown database store.
No database is store.
Unknown database.
Yeah, I'm also having the same problem.
You have the same problem?
When I run that command, I get unknown database.
Okay, let me see what is the problem. Okay, let us, yes, we have databases here. But the store is still zipped under these files. I think you can see we have store here. So. Now, what you have to do, I want us to do practical so that you can do it at your own time. I want you to go and load that file again under files, then you click on open SQL script. When you load these files, everything will run smoothly. So just allow me to continue so that we introduce let's say 4 to 5 commands. Sasa.
It's fine, nimeipata sasa.
Umeipata? Okay, good to go. Let's continue now. So when you click on this command, when you execute this command, select all from store.customers, you will get all the information of that data, of that table. So when we have we can even execute for the orders. For example, when you execute select all from store.orders, we will display what? The orders data. When we run this command, you'll notice that what we have here is data concerning the orders. But now, you will note that from this database, for example, remember I told you from yesterday that database, we expect the database to have a very huge data. So this is just for demonstration. Remember, suppose you want to choose names here with a specific criteria. For example, you want to select those with the point greater than 1,000. Those with point where with the state we have you can select from VA state. I think you are getting what I'm saying. Yeah? Now that's where we apply the commands. We apply the conditions. We apply the conditions. For example, combination of where and select clause. We can select everything from customers where the customer ID is equals to 1. We have the customer ID 1 2 3 4 blah 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 kuteremka sawa sawa. We can only select where customer is 1, but let me tell you another thing. You can select where customer ID is the real ID number, so we don't know the order in which those ID numbers have been arranged. So we don't know the orders in which all those things have been arranged. So we can select where ID number is 1. When we run this command, we expect only the name of customer with ID number 1. Let's try to run the command. You can see what we are getting here is customer with ID number 1. Let's just try to change with ID number 4. What do we get? You can see the name has changed to where ID customer ID is 4. So this is where clause, how we apply where clause in SQL. We can select based on the state. Let me call the table again. We have table here. We have state where we have the MEVA, COFL, all these state abbreviations. We can select based on one state, for example. So we select all from customer table from database called store, where state is equals to VA. You will notice that we have a difference when we call a string and a number. We have to quote the string, but for numbers we can call them just the way they are. So we can call them just the way they are. But now what happens when we remove this? Try to run without those commands there. You notice that you are getting an error. So the string values, we have to enclose them. Like that. That's how we return string in SQL. And I think I quoted this somewhere. You will open the data that I have attached on the introductory note. We have an additional here from this side. So addition is introductory note. You just open this, you will get all those additional notes from that. So you will get them from that. Now, who has not been able to execute those commands before we proceed, or who has been able to execute the command to apply where clause together with the select? I want to hear from you. Who has been able to do so? Yes, John Jeng have not been able to do so. Why? You can share with us your screen again. I think John Jega, you don't have the database called Stosida. You're the one who yes, Ken Bowe, you can yes.
I'm unable to get that table below under the queries. Under the that file that we have opened, command lesson 2.
Yes.
We have loaded it, but I'm unable to see the table under output.
You are not able to see the table after the output.
Yeah.
Like this table here, the table that is appearing here.
Yes.
Okay, let me show you something here. I think yours is like this, huh? Sit down. So.
Yeah.
So just to bring your just to bring your cursor here, it will give you an option to expand either downwards or upwards. Then expand downwards. You will be able to see the table. Sawa. John, have you been able to do so? Yes, Ken Bogwa. Ken, do you have anything to say before you continue?
Repeat that procedure again.
But you have the notes, isn't it? You have those commands with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let me repeat. Hey ladies, mumenyamaza sana. Why? Why are you so quiet? Adele, are you able to do so?
Yes, I corrected mistakes. Now okay.
Oh, let's see your profile as okay. Benson. Yeah, okay. So the procedure is very simple. You can select all the customer, but you give condition where the customer ID is, for example, 4 or 1 or anything that you want. I think we are together up to that point. So another thing, we can select based on the states. We can select based on the states. You can select from store, from customers, where state is equals to VA, where state is equal to VA. Yes, Ken Bogo?
I'm waiting for you to repeat how to see that table.
How to see this table?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Is it possible you share with us your screen? Hata kama ni kwa simu.
Okay.
Share with us your screen. Hey ladies wametulia. Are you following or are you doing or you are just quiet? I want to hear from ladies. And we don't have ladies in this class.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing what we are doing? Are we together? Can you? Yes, we are waiting for your screen.
Okay.
File. I want to hear comment from ladies. You are so quiet. I don't know why. Okay, let's see.
Here's my screen.
Okay, I can see your screen. So it means unknown database store. Unknown database store. So you have to click on the navigator button.
Huh? Where is that now?
No, you have not even loaded that database. Click on files. Open database. Open SQL script. Finya hapo.
Command lesson 2.
No, we are trying to load the store database. So. Go where we have all the notes, where you stored all the notes for the commands.
Oh, the
commands from databases.
This one.
Yes. Do you have a store there?
Yeah.
Where is the store? Click
the last one.
Open. Click open hapa chini. Click open. Open iko hapo tu chini ya your cursor.
I've just opened it.
Then execute everything. Just click on that button for execution. Yes. Okay. You have now the database. So.
Okay.
Now click on the command lesson 2. Iko hapa juu. Yes. Now try to run the command. Command on lesson on line 8. Execute line 8.
Line 8.
Are you executing? I don't see your cursor moving.
Okay, it's good. It's working.
No. Yeah. It's working now. So.
Okay.
Okay. Let's continue now so you can stop sharing your screen.
Sawa. Wana kwa wanaamua tusikole.
Now let's continue. So you can select where the state is equal to VA, for example, and this command alone will return all the states with all the customers from VA states. Also, another thing, you can select from store, from customer store, where the phone number is null. You will note that let me show you that command. You will note that we have phones. Where's the phone? We have phones here. We have phone column here. But you will notice that we have some null values. We have this null value here. Where is the other null? We don't have any null value. Now you can return only that null. You can return customers from a table who does not have the phone numbers. Their phone numbers were not recorded or captured in that particular database. So the command is very simple. You select all from store.customers where the point is null. Where the point is null, what are you getting? We are getting a customer with null value. Value and phone numbers. So we have another command which is very useful in structured query language called the order by clause. How do we use order by? Order by clause, you will use them to arrange your data in either ascending or descending orders, all those things. So the order by keyword is used to sort the results in ascending or descending order. But the default one is in ascending order. So you just click on. So the order by keywords, it sorted the record in ascending order by default. So to sort the record in descending order, you have to specify. You have to use the desk, the shortcut from descending. So this is the shortcut that has been programmed to be used to sort the data in descending order using the struct and query language. So the syntax is very simple. You can select everything from customers and order by first name. By ordering by first name, you'll notice that how do you know the ascending and descending orders? So their first names will be sorted using the alphabet from A to Z. So from A to Z. When we execute that particular command, you will notice that the first name, so we expect the first customer to have something like A. Then we continue, so we expect the final customer to have the first name starting with something Z, like Z or close to Z. So the last one and T, the other one R. So the first one is A, B, C. We don't have D, we have E, F, like that. That is ascending order. But what happens when we apply the descending order? We expect their first name, all this data to be sorted in descending order, starting from this one here.
Is there a keyword for ascending? We can see it is by default. Is there a keyword for ascending? Yeah, like you said, it's by default.
Yes.
But if one wanted to be specific, what would be the keyword?
Okay, I have not come across a specific keyword for that, but if I've introduced you to this language, you can do more research. But me, I'm used to that particular format. So order by ascending. If you insert a value desk, it's the opposite of order by, that is ascending, so it will be descending. I think you can research, you can do more research and find whether it is applicable. So whether we have a keyword for that. Okay. From there now, we can now select a specific column. Let's say, for example, from this table, you don't want to return all these columns. Now, instead of I want you to check the difference between this syntax of star here and this one here. We have selected everything from store.customers. So now you can select a specific column. From this store. So the syntax is very simple. Instead of using star, you specify the specific what? You specify the specific column names. So we have the first name, we have the last name. We have the first name here, we have the last name. What happens when we execute this command? We expect to have a data of this, only this, and this one. So let's see. You can see what we have here is the first name and the last name. What else can we add from this? Let me return the whole page now. we can even return something like, let's say, city. Yeah, city. We can return city and execute the command. Yes, you can see we have added city here. So we have added city there. But now let's look on something another additional called the limit. And see how this clause is used in structured query language. Limit is used to obtain subsets of data in a table by specifying the row numbers. So you can decide to pick the first 10. You can decide to pick the first 10, or you can decide to pick the first 5. So you limit 5. So now let's demonstrate using that particular database or that table and see what we can do. So the clause is used to return specific number of rows returned by the programmer on the database and main, for example. So we select everything. Remember, by the way, there's no difference between these things zikikuwa in one line. They can be in one line. Remember, we are using semicolon to tell the compiler that this is the final, this is the end of the end of that particular command. So you can even insert all these things in one line and they are the same. So they are the same. So you select everything from customer store and limit 1. So we expect to get the first customer. So you can see we have 1. If we increase to 2, we have the 2 customers. Let's run the command and see. We have the 2 customers. If you increase to, let's say, 6, we have 6 customers, like that. So as we continue. Okay, who has been able to do what we have been doing specifically on this command up to the limit? Before we continue, you can see we have a big way to go. We have a big way to go. Who has not been able? Who has encountered any problem before we continue? Benson, are we together? So that
yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay. Clear. I can see people left in. Why are they left in? But let's just you my advice to you, just utilize what you paid for. So you sit okay. At the end of the program, you don't know how to use the SQL. So let's continue. Another thing, we can have calculations in SQL. For example, if you return, we can select the first name, second name, point times 10 divided by 100. So let me show you how we do about this. So we select our form. After we return this line here or this table here, we can do calculations on, let's say, points. So Suppose you know that this count is equals to this times this times this. You can have those calculations done directly here. So let's see. We can select the last name, first name. We can also select point. We can also have another column called point times 100 divided by 10 divided by 100. 10 divided by 100 is like a point times 0.1. See there? Times 0.1. So we expect everything here at the point to be multiplied by 10 over 100. When we execute this command, you will notice that you will have, let's see, okay, star.customers. Let's see. Okay. I think I am not inserting the name star here, so you can hand it. You notice that we have selected the last name. We have the last name followed by the first name, followed by the point, followed by point times 100 divided by point times 10 divided by 100 is this number here times 0.1 times 0.1, where we are getting this number here. So we are getting that particular number there. I think you can see how we can do calculations, simple calculations in SQL. So who has not been able to do so, as we continue, before we continue, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. File, are you getting? Are we together? Are you grabbing the content? File?
Yes.
Very good, very good. What about David? You are so quiet. Are we together?
Yes, we are.
I think
okay.
you can
Good.
you can now be able to do 1, 2, 3 in SQL. So
That's correct.
specifically on what we have covered today up to
Yes.
now, because the class
Yes.
is still not over. So there.
Yes. I'm okay.
Let's continue. Let's continue on other commands. Now, how do you get for example, the 3 customers using point to measure their loyalty? So you will notice that we have this point here. Now, these are some simple questions that you expect to be in your project. So you will have to think. We have point. Let's say point is just a point. So you record if your customer pays this amount of money, you record point, or you give them some point, just some point on let's say on what they said on ABCD. Now, how do you get the first 3 loyalty customers? I will give you an hint. You go and think about it as you prepare for your project. So this is the way you can sort that database or that table. You can sort that table using underby command first. So. After applying underby command, you will be specific. Where are you starting or where are you ending? You know that loyalty customer, we expect loyal customers to have more points than the other customers. So. Now, you specify and say that these customers, the point should be either ascending or descending order according to you. So. After that, you can limit. I want only 3. You can now apply the limit clause. So you order, you limit. You get the first 3 customers. Nani hajaelewa hilo swali? John, umepata the framing of the question? I want to hear from you. Have you got how the question has been framed, Mr. Kabila?
Yes.
I think
Niko sawa, niko sawa.
You can tackle that question. Sit up. Okay. Just with the revision, you will be able to tackle it. So even your project we will be using the same databases. We will be using the same databases. And your project will be presented in command format. Okay, let's continue. We do something we call the alter command. We do alter command. Altering table statement is used either to add either a column, you can delete a column, or you can modify this column in columns in an existing table. So you can modify the column in an existing table. How do you modify? For example, you can rename this point as point of customers. Let's see. This command was here. When you want to rename a column, you use as command. Let's see. So we want point as let's say recordings. What are point? We can say these are attendance. Have a number of shoppings. Numbers short. Numbers short. Numbers short. Let's run the command and see what will happen. Okay, you can see here it has changed from point to numbers short. For example, this is one way of renaming a column in SQL. In SQL. So alter command. So to add a column in a table, we use the following syntax. We halt a table we have the table name and column name data type. So for example, and let's try to add a column on customer. This is stores. This is store. Yes. So from that store we can add a column. So we use alter command. So alter store dot customers then we add column name. What column? The name of the column name that you want to add. We can add what can we add here? We can add, let's say for example, age. Anyway, let me see whether I did a demonstration of this command down here. Okay, we have the command here. From store, we have something like we have the products. Let's select the product and see what we have here. Just a minute. Yeah. So yeah, that is executing that one. So the other command was for adding. So let's see. Yes. So we have the product table. We have the product table and a store. On the product table, we have the product ID, name, quantity in stock, unit price, and tag. And the tag, for example. But I have executed this command already. That's why you have tag. We have tag here. And we can alter this tag here, and we can add expire, for example, expiry. Expiry date. Let's say you want to handle that particular column. You'll notice that our products has how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I execute this command here, I expect to have another what? Another column here. Another column here. Let's execute the command. Yes, the command has successfully been. So we select everything from what? We select everything from store.product. Let's see what we have here. You can see the command has handled what? Has handled the expiry date. The command has handled the expiry date here. Are we together up to that before we continue? Guys, are we together up to that point?
Yes, we are together.
Okay, very good. We can now continue with the next point. You can use the drop command to drop a specific what? A specific column. So if you don't want that column, you can drop it. For example, alter table store product and drop the tag and drop this command and drop that particular column. So we can drop that particular column and see what we have. So from products. Okay, let's run the command and see. Okay, you can see we don't have the tag now. We have only the expiry date. So we can even delete the expiry date. For example, if we don't want that particular column, so we drop the expiry date. Expiry date. So then you can execute the command and see what happens. You can see we have done away with the product with the expiry date and so. What is a delete command? Delete command is used to delete a specific row, for example, with a condition. I didn't share with you this particular note here, but a database also, if you want a database is the quality, so I decided not to share with you this database, but it's a simple database. Let me see. I have a simple database here. You can see it even from your side here. This is a very simple database called Alliance Teachers. We have name, contact, ID number, subject. Then we have age, for example. We have the names of teachers, their contact numbers, their ID numbers, and their subjects. Now I can delete name of a teacher where a specific condition applies. For example, delete, check this command keenly here. Delete from Alliance Teachers where ID number is 64758. ID number 64758, 758, and contact is 723. Remember 723 454. You can see that the ID number and the contact number, they don't belong to the same to the same teacher. So I don't expect anything to be done here. Let's see. Now I can run the command. You can see nothing is happening because this is double conditions with two conditions. So but if I specify the ID number to be this one, and subject is equal to month, and subject let's see, and subject is equal to month. What do you think will happen? Even before we execute the command, you'll notice that entry has been deleted. That is with double commands, with double conditions. I mean, because we enter a student, we enter a name with this ID and this subject. That's how we apply double conditions in structure and query language. Now, how do we update tables? Updating clause. Suppose you notice that this was entered here mistakenly. The English was entered mistakenly. So you don't know even where that English, you don't know how that English was captured in your database, whereas you teach physics. Whereas you teach physics. So what you do, you apply update clause where their contact, for example, where the ID is this. Now, before we continue, you will notice that when updating a table in a database, you set your point or what you want your argument to be based on should be a unique identifier, for example, because I expect some people to be sharing some things like names, but I don't expect the same people to be sharing the ID numbers. So I update my table using the primary keys. Using the primary keys. So I set this where ID is equals to this. Let's see. For example, check this here. This is the table that I want to update. So I want to update Alliance Teachers table. I want to set age equals to 5, for example, where contact is this one, where the age is equals to 5, the contact of that particular is this one, where ID age is this. Where ID age is this one. Now, check. I want to update two things. I want to update the age and the contact, but I'm basing my argument on the ID number. So I set where ID is equals to this. Now, let me see. This is 4344. I want to set age to be equal to 5, where the ID number is 546.7. The ID number is 546.7 is this one here. This is from Bonte, for example. I want to set the age to be 30 years. Let's say, for example, that years. Now, when you execute this command, you will notice that something has happened, something has been updated from this particular table. We have the age 30, we have the contact to be 7344. That is how we update a simple word, a simple table. Another thing, you can update even one entry. For example, you can update even one entry. You can set age to be this where blah 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 blah. So it's not a must. You update all rows or columns. So you can update one column basing your argument on the other column. So yes. Now let's check on the insert tab. Insert command. Insert command is very simple. In a command prompt, you will be typing everything. But now, in insert command, in insert, you can insert values directly. And update that particular query. Let me check. The command is very simple. Check here. You can update these inals here. Let's say, for example, this is Ken. Ken is of number this, for example, and the ID number is, let's say that one. Teaches geography, for example. The age is 10. So okay, from that, now you want to save these changes in your table. You just click apply, and the workbench will produce the code responsible for updating, for inserting those records in your table. When you click on apply, you will notice that you have a table, not a table. You will have a window pop out here with an insert command. So insert into alliance table. What are we inserting? We're inserting name, contact, ID number, subject, and age. What values are we inserting? We are inserting value Ken 70 blah blah blah. What is this? So this is the command that has been used to insert those particular values. And if you check on the command that I sent you for creating those databases, you will see a lot of insert int commands. Then you click on apply, and you will see execute SQL statement. The SQL script was successfully applied to the database. So you have changed, or you have inserted those particular records. You click on finish, so that when you execute that particular command for selecting everything from teachers table, you will get a table with the updated records. So
Excuse me, sir.
Pardon?
Excuse. I have a problem. Like from my machine, it's like my data set is read only. I don't have that option for apply. That option is absent from my machine. What could be the problem?
Okay. Now, if you attended yesterday, I said that if you create a database, you can give privileges to different people. So you can specify and say not everybody or not everyone can update these particular queries. So now You don't have
Yes.
that. Remember, you are not the one who has created that particular database, so you don't have the right to update them. See that?
Hmm?
You can create just a simple one and try to execute those commands. So, by the way, I am. We will have that kind of question in your project. So begin. Just go create a very simple database, a very simple, insert values using that formula, then try to update them, try to relate them. So we will have those things on that particular day. That is the insert into command. So only the same as that one. So that is another thing. You can insert values in a specific column. Suppose you want to insert values on age only. On age only, you have created a table. You have inserted all other values. You have realized that you did create a simple. You did create a column that was to accompany that particular table, and you decide to add that particular table. Now you can add that particular table and add those data on a specific column directly. So hebu ikuwe kama assignment sasa, so that you can go and demonstrate on those ones. Now I want us to do something here on the school, the database that you created for school. So then we created an
Bernard, a quick question, Bernard.
Yes.
There was a new column that you created in the previous table for the 0.1%. Does
Yes.
it automatically become permanent, or we have to do the apply bit as well?
Okay, very good. That particular column, you will notice that it will be there only when you call it. So that is an operation. Okay, I want you to get this point. We were not updating that particular table. So we were trying to get some calculations. So it means those calculations will not be there forever. So because let me go back here. That was just let me check it. It will not be there actually. It's here. So
Yep.
So from this point here, this point will not, this column will not be there forever. So this column will not be there forever. So I have done a calculation here. So I have done a calculation here so that I can export that particular rows summary. For example, when I had data in a table, when I had data in a table, where are they? When I select, for example, this thing here, this is an operation, and I select where the font is null. It does not mean this table called customer has changed to this format forever. So that is just an operation for retrieving those particular data. Are you together at that point?
Yep.
Yeah, so it will not be there forever. So I think we can end there today. Now I will give you an assignment on this particular database that you are creating today. The database for school. When you click that one, here we have the names of the school here. So I want you to go and insert some values here, name, registration number, age, so that tomorrow when I open it like this and get some values inside it. So that's just a simple thing you can do even before you left the group. So you use insert. You use the insert. But now you can even come here when you click. I want you to check on these three icons here. This is for displaying. This is for setting the entries. So when you click on that one, you notice that we have a table name called students. We have the
Excuse. Which icon have you said is for displaying?
pardon.
Which icon were you referring to as is used for displaying?
I'm not getting you clear.
You just say there's an icon used for displaying the dataset, something like that.
Oh, explaining the database.
Displaying, yeah.
Oh, no. When you click on displaying the database is empty because we haven't inserted any record in it. See there?
Like I want to see that specifically where have you pressed to get that option.
Huh? Aki sikusikii. Let me wear my I think you can come inbox, huh? I'm not getting you clear. I think we can you can try to insert these values here. Now I was talking about this part here. When you click on this icon, you will note that something appears here. We have name, we have the data type. It can be primary key, not null, unique, all these things here. It can be this one, for example, the name can be not null, and let me check. Where is the other column? We can insert those simple values there. We will explain these things before we continue with the tomorrow's class. I think we can end it there for today. For today, we can end the class there. Something. Make sure